Okay, I guess it's about time to start. Thank you for choosing this session. I'm really surprised that so many of you have decided to attend here. I hope you will find it interesting. My name is Dudczak. I am a former director of product and engineering in Allegro, where I was responsible for development of the biggest Polish search engine. I have some experience in large-scale systems and AI and data-driven systems, but today I'm going to tell you a story about the only financial product which I have created so far, and I hope you will like it. This might be a bit better title for this presentation. I wanted to, flash this private banking thing, as this is a huge thing and growing market, hope to attract your attention. But the reality is more reflected in that title. It is a very special banking product, the one which I wrote especially for my 3 children. So, despite small scale, over the course of last 5 years, because this is the lifespan of the project, this product proved that some truths are quite universal, and I hope that I will be able to show you that. And I hope you will enjoy. At IT conference, I like to hear stories about real projects, and this is my favorite kind of presentation, so that's why I hope you will share. You will also like it. So 5 years ago, together with my wife, we started a conversation about a more systematic approach to teaching our children how to handle with money. As you see, we can do a lot of things with money, so we wanted to focus on those things which are, in our view, the most important. These are the kids who are playing with German marks during the hyperinflation in 1922. So this is one of the things which you can do with money. And from the parent perspective, there are several options, which I guess some of you know. There is a well-known pocket money pattern, so money paid for nothing every month. There is a cheap young labor model, which I really like, to be honest. So money for delivering home duties. There is also a grandma mode, but so give money whenever kids ask for this, that they need some. So our kids at the time were, so 5 years ago, were 5, 8, and 11. They didn't have a huge needs in terms of spending, their own spendings. So we decided that we will not go with those first 2 approach, and we will leave the 3rd one to grandma. So what to focus on? So we decided that we will try to show them that it is cool to have some savings. We will try to show them the power of compound interest. So in general, we will try to show them things which are at the foundation of modern personal finance. So that's how the drachma bank was born. The best interest rate on this side of Styx. Greek mythology was strong. Our children had a strong affinity to those stories, the Greek mythology at that time. It was born from the Riordan's Percy Jackson book series. This still stands. They are still quite keen to those stories. And now, please be aware, because we offered them 10% interest rates. So this might not be very realistic, and was definitely expensive from the parents' point of view. But it was easy to calculate those interest rates, so it was easy from the admin perspective. And we wanted to show them that those money can be really accumulated. And it also attracted many friends and my coworkers to come around and ask if they can also have an account in the bank. We declined those kind requests. So here is the first version. Here is the first version of this banking product. So paper sheet placed on the fridge. As simple as that, simple table where we noted down incomes, expenses, and every last day of the month, me or my wife were noting down we're calculating the interest and changing the balance of the accounts. So also when children were spending money, we were noting that down. So a simple prototype, and it worked. But as you can imagine, it had some drawbacks. So I've heard, I'm not an expert in financial systems, but I've heard that poor privacy protection may be called drawback, and the privacy is to some extent important in finance. So this is not the best solution in terms of privacy. We had some quick fixes here, I will show you in a minute. So bank owners had to remember about calculate those interest rates at the end of the month. Otherwise, some expenses may happen, maybe not be noted, and in order to keep those arguments whether I had those money at the last day of the month or I didn't have, this was not the best solution. You can agree that there is some potential for clients to modify the balance on their own. This never happened, but there is some potential here. And paper sheet and manual writing has its limits. So there are multiple situations in which my wife was asking me, is this 3, 5, 9? Adam, what you wrote here? Yeah. So there are some problems. And in this form, there are also some solutions. So in order to increase privacy, we moved the paper sheet on the back side of the kitchen cabinet next to our home Wi-Fi password. So we also had some ideas how to improve this, but as pandemic started to kick in, we thought that maybe it is time to move digital. Most companies, it was in fashion at that time, so we thought maybe it's time to introduce internet banking. So that's how the Drachma 2.0 started to appear. I am from Poznań, and Poznań people have a lot of, are close relatives to people from Krakow, and also to Scottish crowd. So in terms of frugality, of course. So I decided that the desired cost of the whole thing will be 0 zlotys in terms of the maintenance and hosting. So free tier at Heroku sounded like a perfect solution at that time. With a modest computational power of 1 virtual CPU and Dino living for 5 minutes and a few megabytes of Postgres, a few kilobytes to be honest, of PostgreSQL sounded like a perfect setting. At that time, I was already doomed in my switch to management career, so I was pretty eager to be reunited with Java Enterprise Stack. So even Hibernate sounded exciting at that time. So by reunite with Hibernate after 10 years, I was excited. So after a few weekends and evenings spent on development of that, I had a working web app, quite simple one, with 3 or 4 case lines of code, a lot of unit testing, integrational testing. I was assured that I still remember how to do that. Beautiful Twitter bootstrap layout. Clients didn't notice that this is beautiful, but in my opinion, it's quite cool. So we had an equivalent of the whole thing, of the paper sheet on the fridge in form of the web app. There are separate accounts for clients, they have their own passwords, they can check the balance. There was also an admin part where I can modify, see the history of transactions. Cool, all the drawbacks eliminated. No need to worry about drawbacks mentioned there. Successful product launch, we were able to proceed. And to proceed to what you all know as the pains of maintenance. In terms of such a small project, those pains were not very painful, I would say, but in every successful product you can expect that something will change over time. So the first obstacle, I would say small one and expected, was that Heroku started to deprecate Java versions. I need to migrate to newer ones. Otherwise, I had to pay. No way to pay, so I moved my butt and upgraded this thing. In terms of Java version, it was not a huge thing. Simple upgrade. Over the time, even admin can, from time to time, lose their password. So I had to add some features, like password recovery. So the product evolved. I was adding some additional features. But the real problem started when Heroku announced that PostgreSQL is no longer available on the free tier. Tense music, nightmares in the evening, what to do. So I started to think about how to get out of Heroku. But before we will proceed to the next chapter of this fascinating story, product-wise conclusions here are as follows. So clients like the service, and they quickly forgot logins and passwords, as I told you. And as the users' habits are changing really slow, still that was the best interface to interact with the whole thing. So Adam, how much money do I have in my account? Is the usual SQL query used by my children to get this information. Here is me and my daughter assessing the quality of code. So to address all those things, those growing pains of maintenance and hosting, I decided to dedicate a weekend to develop a POC of a new version using modern, well-tested, highly accessible, low-code platform. I promised you in the abstract that this was an AI-free talk, and it will be AI-free talk, don't worry. So no more vintage, verbose, enterprisey tech stacks. Now we are talking about things which managers really love, so it's time to introduce Google Spreadsheet. And that's how the Drachma 3.0 was born. So after 3 hours, I was surprised that it took so few time. It was even, I have a working version with all the features. So central spreadsheet allowing me to add expenses with top per client, and instead of those thousands lines of code, I had not even 70 lines of JavaScript to calculate interest rate, manage the whole logic, and send notification to clients. Even triggers was not a problem. This is also something which is built in. Now I will show you the final product. So here is the main spreadsheet. I add some privacy boxes here, you may notice. And I have a tab per child. And then using the app script, you can see this is the entire app. So 69 lines of code, modification and triggers. This is how the modification of the spread look like. Not a very beautiful code, but it does the job. Email notifications, nothing really fancy, and triggers. This is all built in Google Spread. So I was able to get rid of my Java app at Heroku so successfully to get rid of it that I was unable to find the original source code before this presentation. So the benefits. I am of course aware that at some point Google may change how their products look like. I may be forced to migrate the whole thing to something new, but since 2023, zero maintenance cost for this new version. Feature set of the previous version implemented, some things changed. There was no need for the separate accounts, just this notification to give information about the balance to my children. From time to time, they are reading the email, they have their cell phones, so they need nothing more. Logic is still easy to modify, and all the things which come with the Google Spread are there, so admin rights management, access rights, and so on. Cool. So, but as you remember, this was the experiment, so educational one. And to summarize the whole thing, when we saw that our son started to borrow money from different people in family, put them into the Drachma Bank to get interest, and then return the loans, we summarized this experiment as successful. So another conclusion was that the compound interest really have a huge force, and it kicked our wallets heavily, so we had to dramatically cut the interest rate at the moment. So no longer 10%, you don't have to queue to get the account, but it also proved the point. And some final conclusions. So products will evolve, and this may sound obvious, but it means that the user will change mind. It means that we will have to change the product, and that old saying that successful software is a living creature is even seen quite clearly in such a small project. Right tool for the job may also sound like a slogan, but you see that I was so eager to jump into implementation in Java Spring and Hibernate that I didn't even think about choosing something better, something more useful. And I'm sure that many of you are shy to use those ugly bash scripts to do the job instead of using some high-level languages to implement the solution. So the right tool for the job still stands. And it also goes to the more modern things like Copilot. And the sad truth is that maint is unavoidable. Yeah? And libraries, platforms, and environments will evolve, and our software needs to keep up just to deliver the same quality of service. If you have a manager or a senior executive who does not understand that, you may send them to me. I will explain them with this example. So software requires maintenance, and this is the cost which cannot be omitted. So having kids can be expensive, yeah, but what a fun. Thank you all. I've promised 10 minutes in the abstract, then it was 15 minutes. I hope that you are not sitting here since 2024. If you have questions, want to reach me, I'm here at those email address or on the Blue Sky. So that's all for me. Hope you find it interesting. And if you have any questions, hit it. Thank you. I am looking at Slido, and I'm looking in the room. If there is no questions, you can also grab me here. I'm here till Friday, so thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good rest of the conference.